Julia here. Today I'm doing another story behind the stories, which the last one I did was a little bit crazy, so I will leave that in the cards above if you haven't seen it yet. But today I'm going to be telling another crazy story from when I was writing and launching the Scavenger, and it's how I almost ruined the launch of my debut. Now you might think that's a bit of a hyperbole, but I promise you it's not. I didn't really know what I was doing when I was writing and publishing the Scavenger. I did my best to do as much research as you can, but honestly, experience is the best teacher, and I didn't really fully understand what I was doing until I did Missing Her, and now with The Weighted Soul, I'm a pro. So here's what happened that caused me to almost ruin the launch of my debut. So when I was getting ready to launch the Scavenger, I had a rough date that I wanted to launch it by. When I first did it, I wanted it to launch on November 20th. I did some research on days of the week and times of the year to launch books, and it just seemed like a good time. It was before Christmas, so people could buy it as Christmas presents. I just thought it was a pretty good time of year, seemed pretty good. As we were getting closer, I realized they wanted to do a launch party for the Scavenger. So I sent out all these invitations, I invited all these people, and I was like, great, I'm gonna order a ton of copies of the Scavenger. I'm gonna have them in this little coffee shop. People can come, I'll sign the books, they can buy them, and it's gonna be super cool. I'll have it say a week after launch. Sounds good to me. It was not good. One of the things I didn't take into consideration when I was planning the launch of the Scavenger was the fact that November 20th was very close to Thanksgiving. Not normally a problem, but when you're ordering a large quantity of books, there's obviously going to be delays and things like that if there's a holiday. And if I launched around Thanksgiving, the books were going to come, even if I expedited it the most I could, they would come after Thanksgiving. So I realized this right before I pressed the buy button for all of the books, and thank goodness I noticed it in advance, because oh my gosh, I started freaking out. I was like, there's literally no way to get these books here in time, because the problem was, when I was working to publish the Scavenger, I was using CreateSpace, which is now KDP, but CreateSpace had this thing in place where you couldn't order your own copies of your books until it was live on Amazon. So that was the big problem, was I couldn't submit this order of books until the Scavenger was published. And if I published it on the 20th, there was no way I was gonna get those books within a week. It wasn't gonna happen. What I ended up doing was I ended up pushing the launch of the Scavenger forward a week. So instead of it launching on November 20th, it was launching on November 13th. Now, if I did that today, that would be an issue, because I'm always promoting. I mean, if you guys were here for the launch of Missing Her, I was promoting the day all the time. You guys, if you didn't know what day Missing Her was launching by the end of the launch, you must not have been on my Instagram, because I was posting about it every day. I was talking about it in all these videos. I did a YouTube video a day the week leading up to Missing Her, so there was a lot of hype. But I guess good and bad, I wasn't really promoting the day the Scavenger was coming out as much, because I didn't really know how to launch a book properly at the time, so I was kind of making it up as I went along. But because of that, when I made the switch to November 13th, it wasn't as big a deal. A lot of my friends were just excited that they were getting the book sooner. But anyway, so November 13th, the launch of the Scavenger. As soon as it hit, literally that morning, I got online, I made the order for the books, and I expedited it as much as I could. Yes, it was a lot of money, but yes, the books came in time. I had a great launch. It was so much fun. It honestly went better than I was expecting. I remember I was terrified because I didn't know how the books would come out. I was like, what if it doesn't look the same as the proofs? What if people are ordering them on Amazon and they don't come in time? Like, I was just freaking out, but honestly, I had nothing to worry about. I had done all the research. Everything came out fine. I ended up having a ton of pre-orders online, which was great. And then I sold a ton at the launch party as well. But honestly, the main problem was CreateSpace not allowing you to pre-order all of those copies of the books before the book was live on Amazon, and me launching so close to Thanksgiving was a recipe for disaster. I went through Ingram Spark for Missing Her, and I will most likely go through Ingram Spark again for A Weighted Soul, and since they don't require you to do that, for missing her, I could quickly get the books beforehand, and I had the books for the launch party before the book was even live on Amazon, which honestly is the best way to do it. You know the books look good, you know everything is in place, and honestly, it was such a relief to have them. So that's all I have for you guys today. That is how I almost ruined the launch of the Scavenger, and how I almost had a debut party where I was gonna have people write down their names and addresses and give me the money, and then I would give them the book later. It would have been a hot mess, but luckily it did not come to that. Do you have any crazy story behind the stories? I would love to hear them, so be sure to leave them in the comments below. Thank you for stopping by. Bye!